Damien Scarf, good morning to you, Mr. Scarf from Central. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the company and this is the guy behind the company that when you walk into a, correct me if I'm wrong, Damien, a casino, a gaming lounge, a sometimes even coffee shop, you'll send to coffee shop cafe, a restaurant, a clothing store. When you walk in and go, this feels good, you are the guy that actually creates that sense for property. Tell me more.
Good morning, Mr. Novak. Thank you very much for having me on your exclusive Zoom channel and soon to be Facebook. Yep. Anyway, so basically, as you quite rightly said there, we are more often than not the company behind that beautiful smell that you smell when you go into, you know, a pub or a club or a lovely hotel lobby and you walk in the door and you go, isn't that lovely?
Yep.
But so basically what we do is we'll either run through their air conditioning system and just deliver the fragrance through the air conditioning system, or we have really cool little units that can sit on a wall or in a corner somewhere and drift the fragrance around the room. But what it does is the difference between what we do and what the market traditionally had going for it previously was that we turned scientific. So we basically said, let's now create products using pure essential oils so that if anybody had allergies or there was never going to be a question that what you smell will be unsafe, because there's a lot of products in supermarkets and around the world, well, especially here in Australia, that really, I don't know how they got onto the shelves with what they've actually got in them and preservatives and even potentially carcinogens. But what we then did was, because there's no point, you know, nobody wants to build a company up that actually, you know, has traction and then it's proven that you're actually hurting people. You want to have benefits the whole way along.
Yeah.
So we then created products using pure essential oils, and we went then scientific. So if you want to concentrate more, then we'll create this beautiful fragrance that's going to help you concentrate more, that's based on rosemary. If you wanted to increase the linger rate, so if you're a retailer or a casino or something like that, then we then create a fragrance that'll assist you to, you know, be a little in a nice calm mood so you can appreciate the environment that you're actually in a little bit more. And in the case of a retail outlet, hopefully it can then increase sales because you've increased the linger rate. And that's all retailers are ever trying to do.
It sounds like you're almost doing the same thing that's always been done, but in a different way when you think about it, not when you talk about it though. So when someone says to you, oh, I'm going to make something smell nice, you think, well, that's been done for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But this is uniquely different. And I think everyone knows how uniquely different it is, Damien, because, you know, you've never felt that way before. As in, I remember walking past a hotel in the city and I was just going on the street past the lobby and it was like, geez, that's I wanted actually to go inside. I liked it so much. So this is a full-on business now for industry, for for any sort of properties that are wanting to. This is big, isn't it? It's not just a plug-in in a PowerPoint. This is massive industry.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a good product for a business that can afford it. You know, because it's an upmarket product. It's not cheap. But then again, it's not cost prohibitive either. But the reality is it needs to be an upmarket style of business that can justify, they're just trying to do what they do just that little bit better. For example, you know, we do a lot of lobbies for nice apartment buildings. So yep. they've gone to that trouble to build that beautiful lobby. Let's give it that hotel feeling. So those people that paid all that money for these apartments can smell this beautiful fragrance every time they go in the door. The other thing it will then cover up is that smell that might be just coming from that bin room that was positioned a little bit too close to that lobby. You know, so it works its magic in a lot of those sorts of areas as well.
Because Damien, you could, like you said, these are high value, say it's an apartment block of 100 units. and say they're paying strata levies of $1,000 a quarter, which is $4,000 a year. You know, to have that uplifting feel in their property, and it's really a fractional that cost of what someone like Central, your company, would charge. What are the other industries that are doing it? So you'll get it for real estate, for a lobby of a unit block. What other? I think Meriton does scenting in a lot of their lobbies now as well. But what other sort of
industries
you set up in? Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know, if I were to pivot the conversation right now, probably our biggest growth industry is aged care and retirement. Due to COVID-19, we actually when this started breaking out in Wuhan and then spreading through America, we were already in the labs preparing a air sanitizer with similar benefits to hand sanitizer.
Wow.
That smelled good, but really did the job. So it'll kill most airborne bacteria and viruses, just like rubbing hand sanitizer on your hand, and smells quite pleasant. Doesn't smell as beautiful as the traditional stuff that you've come to love from Scent Central, but this is something that it's a bit of a, it's a protector to the environment that you are using it in. So that would probably be the biggest growth industry we've got now. So most of our existing clients, of course, they want to create safe workspaces for all of their staff and for all their clients as well. So they've all jumped onto our air sanitizer. The retirement homes, schools are huge for us. Kindergartens, all of those sorts of things where, there's a lot of people. You've got classroom environments, and where social distancing just isn't possible. Aged care, for example, dementia wards, which are really sad to walk into, but the reality is it's very hard for them to control. So we just need to go to that next level and control the air that they breathe, to make it, to sanitize it.
Two things. I just want to say good day to everyone who's joined this morning. Lisa Novak's joined.
Hello, Lisa.
Luke said g'day. Luke Moroney, think old buildings, musky, mouldy, absolutely. Andrew Cole, how are you, buddy? Michael Edwards, g'day, champion. Stanko, g'day. So yeah, look, it's hi to everyone. And Damien, it's not a gimmick. This when you say an air sanitizer, so so for what you're telling me, I understand there's another part to your business now. First, there was the scenting of premises, of properties. Second, now there's the air sanitization. Is that a gimmick or is that a real thing? Is it really getting rid of germs or viruses in the air? Or how much of it is it getting rid of in the air, for example, in a retirement village?
Good question. The reality is you can only account for where you can smell it. So if you can't smell it, then technically it's not getting into that corner of the premises. Right. So there's the litmus test. We've actually had a lab run in with petri dishes and go out and take 2 weeks to create cultures and have a look at the actual net effects of it. And they came back and they came back and they said, look, you're at 82% success rate throughout that room. So you're covering roughly 82% of the room. That's only due to the fact that you had one machine. So look, there's 18% of that room that could still potentially be infected should somebody should somebody be infected and they go and sneeze or touch that area. That is potentially the case. However, there was 0 before we got there. So 82 is a big step. I don't believe anyone that's going to label their product with 100% success rate. It just can't be true. There's just too many variables.
So Damien, there's the side of it where there's I think of it as cosmetic scenting. It's like yes. trying to make the room smell pretty. There's the scientific side of it, or there's the sanitization side of it, which is the retirement villages and things like that. There's also, I guess there's probably another side of it, which is the old traditional side of it, just when you've actually got a bad smell, and a bad smell that you're not cosmetically just trying to make a room smell pretty, or you're scientifically trying to make a room healthy. This is a potentially, maybe like I'm thinking personally, like a lot of harbourfront old buildings sometimes have a basement with a restaurant on top, and the restaurant doesn't smell good because it's got timber floors, and from the sub basement there's always this constant mildew. Can you look after that with scenting?
Look, absolutely. But what we've found is that you like to try and be of value to your clients. So you try and take care of things that are bothering them. That's how you create a good, robust business. There's a lot of things that bother our clients that we can't deal with because they're just sort of like out of our scope. For example, if they've got a huge rat infestation, there's no point spraying or using beautiful upmarket, commercial aromatherapy to cover dead rats. It's just not going to work. You need to take care of that first by using, somebody that really knows what they're doing in that department, and then we can come in afterwards. But what we find is it's generally a lack of airflow that creates the stagnant smell. It's generally a lack of airflow, so they just don't have proper extraction. And what we can generally do is put something in there that will actually kill bacteria, which is what lack of airflow that does generally create. It lets the bacteria build up. So there are essential oils that we can use in those sorts of rooms that will not just mask, but it will sort of kill that musky odor smell. It's not what we were geared up at first to do. It's not what we brought to the market, but what our ethos is: be where you need it and do a good job. But if it's bothering a client, yes, we'll go in there and we'll fix those little things.
So it's not just extracting the stinky air out of the room. Even after you've done that, what did you call that thing? Was it ionisation, or what was it? What are you doing? What are you doing to the air? Yes, ionising the air, or what do you?
Well, no, it's more. It depends what sort of machine you use. You might use ozone. You might use biozone, which basically can take all the bacteria out of the air. But that's actually a different concept. We do have those sorts of machines that can take the bacteria out of the air. They also take a lot of the oxygen out of the air too. But no, we're using aromatherapy to actually get rid of the bacteria in the air in this case.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What a business.
Yeah, look, it's been a great business. It's been a wonderful journey. We've got, we have over 1,000 clients, and they all seem very happy with us. You can tell they're happy because if any of the machines run low, or from time to time the machines get turned up so that they may run out a day or two before they get serviced, they're on the phone straight away saying, please get in here a little bit earlier and top this up because it's really important now to the way we run our business. So it's actually commercial aromatherapy. And as you said before, the reality is that the actual smell itself is very, very, it's a byproduct of what we do.
Yep.
The actual smell's the byproduct, but what we're actually doing, it's the scientific, it's the mood change. That's really what we're after here.
Okay, so when you say mood change, so anyone who's just tuned in, and g'day to everyone who's watching this morning. Sam, how are you? Julian, for anyone who's just tuned in, what your business is scenting hotels, casinos, venues, foyers of apartment blocks to create a mood or a scene. But what you're saying, Damien, is you're drilling down scientifically. When we were off air before, you were saying that you can actually, in a school, you can actually scientifically use aromatherapies to make you help concentrate. Is that right?
Absolutely.
you can make someone want to stay longer in a property because they feel comfortable, or how does that work?
Well, if you ask the guys at the medical, studying medicine at Notre Dame University, they'll say that they call one of our fragrances their limitless fragrance, the limitless movie. So they say,
Movie.
hey,
Like the movie.
yeah, that's right. They call our fragrance the limitless fragrance. So please don't ever run out of the limitless fragrance. We've got an exam next week, they'll say. So yeah, so that's a byproduct. As I often say, the actual making the place smell nice is anyone can do that. Admittedly, perhaps they won't be using, upmarket essential oils. Like, these things are expensive, but it's that scientific behavioral change that we're after, and that's what we do.
A library, you could actually make people not just think, wow, this is a great scent, but actually it helps them concentrate, you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. We were actually approached last month by the community service asking us, can we do jails? And because they were reading up on our internet, on our website, and saying, well, they said basically if you can actually reduce the amount of anger in a room, it's going to be much safer for our employees. Our wardens in the jails. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's a good idea. I might have a little bit of trouble getting staff to go there, but let's do it. So, but it's true. They were right. It's the sort of thing we should have offered them before they'd come to us.
Now, Julian's got a question. Just wondering if the scents are toxic or chemical free.
Thanks, Julian. The reality is that they're pure essential oils. So they're all plant-based, pure essential oils, and so that there's no alcohol, there's no ethanol, there's nothing in there that is not natural.
Yeah, wow.
Mm.
And so, how do you actually get that smell into the room? Is it a plug-in in the room? Does it go into an air conditioning unit? Do you need to top it up if someone gets you in, do they need to top them up themselves? Does it last long enough where you do it?
So basically what happens is there's a machine that goes into the room. It'll either go up on the wall, which is 80% of our cases. If it's a really big room, maybe 2 or 3 machines, but generally one machine can do up to 500 square meters. It goes up on the wall. It's a nice, attractive looking machine. It has a little back fan in it that gets the fragrance in and around the room successfully. Or if it's a casino or a really large hotel or office building, for example, we run it through their air conditioning system. So the reason we don't run through a lot of other air conditioning systems is not everybody has their air conditioning on every day. Some people don't need it. So if the air conditioning's not on, then our fragrance is not going to flow through their ductwork.
So I've seen one of your plug-in units that you supply. It looks a bit like a Sonos speaker.
I think that's a really good way to describe it. It does look like a Play 5, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which is quite a neat little unit. But the one that I think works best for on a commercial property application is if you've got your air conditioning on. So, for example, Damien's in our office. If anyone ever wants to come in and have a smell of Novak HQ, he does here. So, and it's enough to be there, but it's not enough to be on your clothes when you walk out still smelling like the office. So it's and you can adjust that through the internet, can't you, Damien? If someone rings you up and says, look, we need it stronger, you can do that.
Yes, we can. But basically all of the machines are hooked up to Wi-Fi. Well, firstly, the way it works is there's a machine, there's a fragrance, and then there's a service every month. So nobody has to touch it. Okay. Everybody gets it. Everybody wants to, but the reality is it's a highly serviced product. So there's no need to touch it. And it's then hooked up to a Wi-Fi so that should people need it turned up or down during the month, before the service technician gets there at the end of the month, then we can do it real time. They've just got to message the control center or ring, and it's done real time. Cases like that is a lot of the clubs, for example, they may have won a football game and their rooms are absolutely chock-a-block. People are smoking in their gaming rooms and they're there's just so many people in there, the fragrance isn't being noticed. So they often ring us up and say, look, could you please turn it up for 3 hours, crank it right up for 3 hours until, the levels get a little bit lower so we can
Yep.
smell it. And we do that. So that's that. So it's very highly serviced.
What an amazing business.
Yeah, look, it's one of those businesses that you'll tell people what you do and they'll go, I didn't realize there was a business like that. So, it does have that little bit of X factor. But what I really love is that we get the opportunity to take over the largest volume of real estate in a room, the air, and we get to control that and make a difference, whether it be make it safer, make people more comfortable in there, and most importantly, do what that business needs to assist it.
And this is a big business. So how many companies there's not even many in Australia that are doing this, are there?
There's a few, but the few that do it, they're all big companies. They're all, massive companies around the world. They're all big global companies. Nobody yet has bought in pure essential oils. So all of our competitors are still using synthetics. So they'll make the place smell very nice, but they're not going to be able to back it up with anything scientific.
Well, a lot of them are coming from a toilet background, so they're just.
That's exactly right. They're all coming from the restroom industry, which is a huge industry.
Which is pretty. Sometimes that stuff's pretty. Like if you look at that stuff that goes into toilets in some of the public areas, they are toxic. They are toxic little things. Those the cakes they have in the men's lavatories. And also
it's got to be tough stuff generally to deal what's going on in there.
Deal what's going on, but even
we're outside with all the ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, and then even I've noticed some cars that are doing it now. Like if you're buying a top end Mercedes S-Class or a BMW 7 Series, they now have in the air conditioning they have diffuser units. So this is a moving industry. And to finish off. Candles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but have candles gone a bit crazy out there or am I just getting old? Where the reason why the ladies have the candles at home is they just love the smell of the room when they have the candle on. This is the same thing.
Oh, look, absolutely. And there's something romantic and lovely about a candle. But the reality is if you have to burn it all day, every day for your lobby or for your business, you're burning paraffin. It is a fuel. That's why the black comes out the top. So in the interest of safety and for your workers' safety, it's actually a little bit of a no-no to use a candle 24 hours or during the day whilst the business is open just to provide that scent. And it's impossible to have an essential oil in the actual candle. It can only generally be synthetic.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Also, there's a lady called Lisa Novak that you may know has asked, can you make your own fragrance?
Yes. If you have a group of stores or you've got a group of hotels.
I can make my own fragrance.
I'm sure you can, Mark. Yep. I'm sure you can. I don't know if it will be a good commercial fragrance.
Big seller. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Lisa, yes, we can do a signature fragrance for your company. We generally, what we do is we'll then take down a whole bunch, we'll ask a lot of questions. We'll then show you a lot of samples, and then we will create something for you and only for you. It does require minimums. So if you're a single outlet or something like that, generally won't work. But I think it's very, very important. If you are a group, I think the fragrance that you choose for your group is just as important as the sign above the door, because people smell it and associate that with you before they even look at your sign.
And do people copy fragrances and get the shits from it, or are they all right? So sometimes, do you get people coming to you saying, mate, I love the smell of Star City. I want that exact smell. How, does that happen?
It does. And generally you can then offer them something similar. But one of our sayings at Scent Central is, unless your customers are asking you for this fragrance for their homes, then we haven't done our job properly in your premises. You know, so unless all your customers, if it was in Novak real estate, for example, unless your customers that you're trying to sell apartments and houses to come and say, can we have this for our home? Then you don't have the right fragrance at Novak yet.
Yeah, got it.
Mm.
What an exciting thing. And even what got me the biggest humdinger with your business is when you were telling me that you had coffee shops in centres that you were scenting coffee for a coffee smell, so it attracted a lot of people in the centre, to even more people in the centre, to come and have a coffee. That's incredible.
Well, you know, they're all fishing in the same barrel for the same guy with $3.50 in their pocket. So the one that had the most pungent smell caught the attention of the potential coffee drinker before the other. So yeah, it was a bit of a cheat, but it did work.
You're a legend. Damien, thank you very, very much. I'll just see if I've got any questions out there. Good for plain, says Lisa Novak. Lisa likes my tiara above my head.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, thank you. And I reckon that's a wrap. That's a wrap. You're a legend,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Thank you for sharing your business with us and relating that back to real estate and property. And I think it's a question that a lot of people would have had on their minds. Who are these guys and where do they come from? And even, can I get into my business? I'm going to put your phone number on here that people can give you guys a call
Sure.
if they need you. And any questions for me, Mr. Scarf?
How do you look so handsome this time of the morning, Mr. Novak?
It's the lighting. It's
right.
The tiara, straight above.
So I'll just ask you one question.
Yeah.
What sort of industries do you have in your book that you'd probably recommend this product to?
Unit blocks where there's a bin room close to the foyer, so you get this really bad pong. Even I've got a couple of clients that are in really nice apartment blocks in Manly, and yeah, they got. I'm thinking of it straight away. Commercial premises. I think it's actually genius for a coffee shop. I think that's a master stroke where you can spend not a lot of money and pump out a scent through 1,000 or 2,000 metre squared shopping centre, which attracts people to come. So I think of recommending it to those guys for business.
Sure.
Would it be a rude question to ask before we leave what the budget typically is?
Yeah, sure. It's a monthly amount which you pay to have the machine, so you don't end up owning the machine. So that means if it breaks, it's not your problem. They just replace it straight away. Yep. So it's the machine, the essential oil, and the monthly service. So it never runs out, and you never have to worry about it. Yeah, look, it ranges anywhere between $150 and $250 per month per machine.
Okay.
So, considering what it does, it's inexpensive. But the reality is, depends how big the premises is. So if I were to quote on Novak HQ, I'd say it would probably cost you about $200 a month.
And so it's probably a lot of money for someone's home, though. That would be a pretty big ticket item for someone's house.
I would really think so. We've been flooded with people that want our air sanitizer for their homes. And we just need to find a better way to do it for them, because for $200 a month, it's just going to be a little bit cost prohibitive. And homes don't have one big room like you've got there behind you. And to scent them all, it will be difficult. So we're in the process of coming up with another idea for them.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the cost of a candle. These candles are $50, $30 a pop just for a candle.
Yeah.
So you're not far off still. I guess if it's a premium home and
this is a lot cheaper than a candle.
The husband's buying candles, then it's cheaper and safer.
Husband's buying candles, he's in trouble. All right.
Dave,
all right. Thanks for having me, Mark.
You were very well behaved today. I was a bit worried about. I know you're pretty sharp, pretty witty, and I was worried you're going to give Novak a couple of jabs in the kidney this morning.
I had a very, very relaxing fragrance on in my home office, which kept me under control during the meeting.
Good answer. Mr. Scarf, thank you very, very much, dear friend and unbelievable business person. Hopefully,
Right back at you, Mr. Novak.
help some people out there.
All right, bud.
See ya.
Later. Bye.